Everybody, good afternoon, actually. Good afternoon. Welcome to Sweetwater Lake, one of the most beautiful places in Colorado, and one that I am thrilled to announce will be the home of Colorado's newest state park. This is an exciting day for Colorado. With the addition of our 43rd state park, the second new state park in my administration, the first was Fisher's Peak near Trinidad. We are creating more opportunities for Coloradans to enjoy the great, beautiful outdoors, preserving and conserving some of our most amazing wild areas, and meeting the needs of Coloradans and those from across the country and world who love to explore and play here on Colorado's public lands. There's a lot that is unique and extraordinary about this new state park at Sweetwater Lake. First and foremost, look at the incredible vistas, the great opportunities with the water features in the lake. But this park also is a result of the first of its kind partnership in the entire nation between the state of Colorado and the U.S. Forest Service, the White River National Forest, to have a state park on U.S. Forest Service lands. We also appreciate the partnership of Eagle Valley Land Trust, and there are so many folks here today that worked hard to bring this park to life. And I want to thank Dan Gibbs, the Executive Director of Colorado Department of Natural Resources, Dan Prinzlo, who's with us, Director of Colorado Parks and Wildlife, Commissioner Jeannie McQueenie, and Commissioner Matt Shear from Eagle County, Commissioner John Martin from Garfield County, Jackie Buchanan, the Deputy Regional Forester for the U.S. Forest Service, our partner, Jessica Foulis, Executive Director of the Executive Eagle Valley Land Trust. We have members of Great Outdoors Colorado and the Conservation Fund who also helped acquire this property. It really took the entire team to get this done. I also want to acknowledge that Sweetwater Lake has many sites where our indigenous people lived over the years, and we recognize the contributions of our indigenous people and the dwellings in the area as well, and we appreciate our partnership with the tribes as we work to improve access and conservation of this important landscape. This state park here at Sweetwater Lake is about 500 acres of rugged parkland. In the coming months, we're developing the site plan. We expect to have enhanced visitation opportunities by next summer for visitors to come here, working with members of the public, preserving the undeveloped nature of the property. It also connects beyond the 500 acres to tremendous U.S. Forest Service lands and trails in the nearby area. We expect the plan to be completed next year, and starting in June of 22 next year, Coloradans will have access to improved facilities, including a new boat dock. Many of our parks that feature water and lakes are among our most popular state parks, and we're excited to add this to the mix. You know, with an outdoor recreation economy that generates $62.5 billion in economic output, $9.4 billion in local and state tax revenue per year, supporting 511,000 jobs in our state and supporting our way of life. This park isn't just an investment in our public lands and conservation, it's also an investment in economic recovery and jobs. The addition of this park really gets at both those challenges, giving Coloradans another option for exploring our great outdoors. And as we get new generations of Coloradans to explore our outdoors, they develop those values, those conservation values, to preserve our heritage. We also can help alleviate the pressures being put on many of our heavily loved outdoor areas in other parts of our state, and give folks the experience that they expect for today's camper and when today's visitors go outside. You know, our outdoor spaces are a big part of our identity as Coloradans. It's the reason that we enjoy living here, and it's one of the key driving forces of our economy, attracting visitors and tourists from across the country and world. That's why we work so hard to make sure these lands are accessible to everyone and will be permanently preserved and available for generations to come. This year is a historic year, working with our legislators, and we have Representative Dylan Roberts and Representative Perry Will with us, a historic year for our public lands. With their help, we passed the Keep Colorado Wild Pass, which saves Coloradans money on their annual park pass, bringing it from $84 a year for a family to hopefully $30 a year or so for a family. Provides long-term funding for our state's world-class outdoors and wildlife, professionals and first responders to help keep people safe, and to promote equity in access to our outdoors in our underserved communities. And I want to thank Senator Fenberg and Senator Donovan, as well as Representative Will and Tipper and Roberts for their leadership on this legislation. I also want to thank Representative Herod Ortiz and President Garcia and Senator Joaquin Lewis for their work on the outdoor equity piece to make sure that kids who live in our cities who might not otherwise even see or get to enjoy our great outdoors have a dedicated funding source to support their work, perhaps even including camping right here at Sweetwater Lake at the state park. You know, it was American poet Henry David Thoreau who said, "Heaven is under our feet as well as over our heads." Looking at this view, that's pretty hard to dispute. Now I'd like to introduce a great public lands advocate in our administration, somebody who helped make this park a reality, who helped keep Colorado wild a reality, who's even stepped up personally to protect our public lands as a wildland firefighter. Please join me in welcoming our Department of Natural Resources Executive Director, Dan Gibbs.
Great. Thank you, Governor. What a beautiful day to be here at Sweetwater Lake, right? Soon to be Colorado's 43rd state park. So let's give a round of applause just to say that. That's just amazing to say that. Sweetwater Lake, as you all know, is a hidden gem, both as a destination and also a gateway to the Flat Tops Wilderness right here. The DNR and CPW are really excited to work with U.S. Forest Service and the Eagle Valley Land Trust on managing the property, balancing recreation and conservation, and preserving the unique character of this area. And I just want to share with you some amazing kind of like history of the area too. You all know we're in Garfield County right now, and this is the homeland of the Ute people. And then in 1891, Nathan Peel, to our knowledge, was the first person to purchase land from this area from the General Land Office. But there are many other private landowners along the way, including Denver Post cartoonist and illustrator Paul Gregg, who owned this area for about 30 years, and also Chicago gangster named Leland Vrain, who's also known as Two Gun Louie, who had this property too, and also Frederick Anderson, who served as U.S. Ambassador to NATO, just to name a few. Also, back in 1891, this is when the White River National Plateau Timberland Reserve was first created by executive order, creating the second national preserve in the nation. The first one was actually Yellowstone, but this later on, of course, became the White River National Forest. So this area has been a real leader, especially the White River, on looking at creative ways to move forward. So today we're really happy to help build upon the unique legacy of Sweetwater Lake, first of its kind with the state and federal partnerships here in Colorado. My hope is that this will be one of many as we look to partner with the U.S. Forest Service, especially on the shared stewardship agreement that the governor signed with the U.S. Department of Agriculture in October of 2019. So a huge thanks to everyone that really helped make this property, and this really happened today. U.S. Forest Service, of course. Scott Fitzwilliams couldn't be here today, but he was just instrumental. Eagle Valley Land Trust, thank you so much, Jessica. The Conservation Fund, Justin Springs here, thank you so much for your amazing leadership. Great Outdoors Colorado, thank you so much. Eagle County Commissioners, Garfield County Commissioners, our federal delegation that support the Great American Outdoors Act, numerous other local government and community partners, such as Adrian Brink, longtime outfitter operating, I can't believe 36 years here. Amazing. So thank you for your leadership. Also a big thank you to Dan Prinzlo and his team. Jacob Bray, I know you've been so instrumental too. It has been a really challenging few weeks for Parks and Wildlife, and my hope, Dan, and to your team, this is the one bright spot that we have going on right now. Also, big thank you to Doug Vilsack. You've been really instrumental too. Thank you for all the meetings and working with everyone. Chris Aaron, my communications director. And last but not least, to my boss, Governor Polis. Thank you for your leadership in protecting our public lands, your vision, your commitment in creating greater access and accessibility for everyone in Colorado and for those that visit. So thank you so much. And next, I'd like to introduce the head of Parks and Wildlife, Dan Prinzlo.
Thank you. I changed the run of show. So welcome to Sweetwater, and we'll name it later. So it'll be state park in there, and it'll also be something about the White River National Forest. And so we're really excited about our partnership with the Forest Service, not only because it's the first of its kind, but we have just a great relationship with the White River National Forest and obviously out of the region office out of Denver. And so we're excited about that. We've got a lot of planning to do, and I know this will excite the governor, but let's start building. So I think I'm going to move next to Jackie Buchanan, who's the Deputy Regional Forester for the U.S. Forest Service.
Got to lower the mic. So I'm going to start where Mr. Gibbs left off in saying thank you, Governor Polis, for joining us in what is truly a remarkable and exciting opportunity. And we're all here today on this glorious Colorado fall day on what is the newest piece of Forest Service land in Colorado. So that is exciting. Yeah. But it's been a bit of a journey to get here, and there's some folks that, on behalf of the Forest Service, I really want to recognize that made a difference in getting us to where we are today. Justin Spring and your staff at the Conservation Fund. Tremendous work with Scott and the crew on the White River. See if I can. I'm not sure how that's going to go. But thank you for all that work. Jessica Fowlis, there you are, for you and your team at Eagle Valley Land Trust. Tremendous amount of work on your part to get us again here today. Our congressional delegation, Senators Bennett, Hickenlooper, and former Senator Gardner, they all supported us when we went to them and said that we were going to request land and water conservation funding for this parcel. And we really appreciate that support. Dan Prinzlo, the Colorado Parks and Wildlife, you guys have been hand in hand with the White River in making this happen. And we want to say thank you on behalf of the Forest Service for that. And then the staff of the White River National Forest and the staff in our regional office, that they've all been working on this several years and have been dedicated and have really gone above and beyond to make this happen. So thank you all. And then I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the community support that came along with getting this move forward. We've talked about being in Garfield County, Eagle County, and of course the folks that live right here in the Sweetwater Valley. If the support from those folks were not with us, if they were not on board with it, this would not have happened. And so just need to recognize that and say thank you for all of their support. But today we are really celebrating something that is unique and special, and that is this collaborative effort of taking a U.S. Forest Service parcel, and this is, as the governor said, the first in the nation to take a U.S. Forest Service parcel, have it become a state park, and have it co-managed with the state and the U.S. Forest Service. And I will tell you, in my 30 years of working with the Forest Service, I said this to someone earlier, you don't often get to be a part of something in this time and age that's the first, and this is the first in the nation. And so I'm so proud and excited to be a part of that and to have this great state of Colorado being a partner with us. And so this is an example when we talk about shared stewardship, and I have to keep looking back at the governor because I was with him when he signed that. This is an example of what shared stewardship can bring to the state like Colorado. And I think this is just the first of many opportunities for us to be able to look forward and find opportunities to provide recreation access to the citizens of Colorado and the American public, while we can still protect incredible resources of water, wildlife, and heritage. And so, when all that comes together, how exciting of a day it is. But this is just the beginning. So we've gotten here, and there's still a lot of work ahead of us. And we're going to have to work together with the communities, with our state partners, to figure out how we are going to manage this. But, you know, it took a team effort to get here. It'll take a team effort to move it forward. But I have no doubt that we are all going to be proud at the end of the day when we get this up and running. And with folks like the outfitters that have been here for 30 and 40 years in the history, for us to be able to maintain that heritage while opening it up to a wider public access, that's a pretty sweet spot for Sweetwater. That just popped in my head, so we'll go with it. But thank you all so much. Really appreciate it, and a great day. Thank you.
Jessica is our partner with Eagle Valley Land Trust.
Thank you very much. Well, hello everyone. I have to say I'm actually quite overwhelmed with gratitude right now. So thank you all for being here to celebrate. Opportunities like this come around very rarely, once in a career and once in a lifetime. When this project began, it was a simple vision. We were about to lose this community asset, a Colorado gym in the purest sense, a physical representation of the true essence of Colorado. At that time, it felt far-fetched, even with an organization like the Conservation Fund on board leading the effort. It was a big, expensive project, and we likely only had one shot at it. Fortunately, our community, from neighbors to towns to the county to the state of Colorado, united around this vision despite geographic and ideological barriers. Individual donors, many of whom live on the road we all traveled to get here, built the foundation of the Save the Lake campaign. We have Derek and Adrian here representing those folks. Excuse me. This is very emotional. They were the hearts of this grassroots fundraising effort. The town of Gypsum joined with a large leadership gift, followed by the town of Eagle, then Eagle County with a donation that matched 1-to-1 the contributions up to that point. The campaign spread as local advocates took the torch and began rallying their friends and neighbors to join the effort. None more unforgettable than the Glenwood Springs Middle School. I'm not usually like this. It's a big deal. GoCo, with a unique and critical loan, moved the project along to the point that the Conservation Fund could purchase the property. All of these partners helped propel the project to the top 10 priority for the United States Forest Service. Thanks to the dedication of our congressional delegation, a fully funded Land and Water Conservation Fund secured the property for our community and our state for good. When we started the project, getting this far was Plan A. Colorado Parks and Wildlife joining the effort to bring the property to its fullest potential is truly the realization of a vision decades in the making. On behalf of Eagle Valley Land Trust and the Save the Lake campaign, thank you, Conservation Fund, U.S. Forest Service, Colorado Parks and Wildlife, Department of Natural Resources, Senator Bennett, Governor Polis, for protecting this vital community asset for the people of Eagle County, Colorado, and the United States of America. Woo!
Thank you, Jessica. I also want to acknowledge we have two of our Colorado Parks and Wildlife commissioners here, Luke Schaefer and Charlie Garcia. Thank you for joining us. We have two great champions of our public lands in our state legislature who are with us. And to show how in Colorado, our public lands, our state parks are such a bipartisan issue. Keep Colorado Wild, totally bipartisan bill. We have somebody who happens to be a Republican and somebody who happens to be a Democrat with us today from our state legislature. But they're here as Coloradans. They're here as supporters of outdoor recreation. And I'm thrilled to turn it over to Representative Dylan Roberts.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you, everybody, for being here. Jessica's comments summed it up very well, and, we're both from Eagle County. I have the honor of representing Eagle County and Route County, and grew up on public lands and wanted to run for office to protect our public lands and make sure that we are preserving everything that makes Colorado so great. And so to be here today as a part of this is very humbling and exciting for me. As Eagle County's representative, I want to thank everybody from our community that works so hard on this. Your partnership in all of the levels of government and nonprofit is truly amazing. And the benefit of this for Eagle County, both economically and for our community, is going to be immense. So all I can say is thank you. I'm so excited to be here on behalf of Eagle County and the state legislature and my colleague, Representative Will. It is a true honor to be a partner in all of this. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, well, guys, in addition to being a state obviously having Representative Will in the state legislature is so valuable because 31-year veteran, how many years? 40-year veteran of Colorado Parks and Wildlife. That wasn't enough public service for him. He said, I'm going to go work for the people of Northwest Colorado in the state legislature where he works every day, and he brings that wealth of a lifetime experience helping to manage and support our public lands. Representative Will.
Thank you, Governor. That was good. And I just kind of want to say that when you were speaking, that hit me too, because if you're not passionate about something, it's not worth doing, right? You got to be passionate, so that this is worth doing. And, you know, I want to thank John Martin, Garfield County Commissioner, standing over there. We were in there with the very grassroots part, right, Justin? And to save this property and to save Sweetwater Lake. And I had many conversations with Adrian about this years ago as well. And I want to see that tradition carried on, because I can tell you the best meals I ever had and the best pie I ever ate was right down there in that lodge. And I will say, not to offend anyone in Garfield County, but that's the best pie in Garfield County. And I want to, so the vision of all this from the grassroots on up, and from Garfield County, Eagle County, all the partners, everyone here today, you know, the save the lake or save Sweetwater, well, it's saved, right?
We did it.
We did it. And I just love standing here because I've been in this country for a lot of years, doing my old job, my old career, but just take a moment and look around. This is Colorado. This is Colorado, and it's really Colorado to me. And so to be able to do what everyone that had a little, just their finger in this to get this across the finish line and done is just awesome. And I think the thing with the Forest Service and the state doing this, it's the first time ever, and I think there's a whole lot of opportunity. So this is a red letter day for a lot of people here, and myself included. I think this is an awesome deal. So thank you.
All right, we would, any of our speakers, we'd be happy to take questions from members of the media. Any questions?
Rip on the nuts and bolts of this. Who owns this land?
U.S. Forest Service.
Okay. And
Yeah.
how are you going? And CPW is going to manage it as a park.
Exactly, that's correct. So it's U.S. Forest Service land. We manage it as a park, just as we have in our state park system. We have a few other landowners today. We lease. What are some of our landowners?
Cherry Creek,
Yeah.
Bureau of Reclamation.
Bureau of Reclamation, Cherry Creek. So there are a few different landowners, but what this is the first example of is U.S. Forest Service land managed by a state as a state park. There have been partnerships with U.S. Forest Service, very few, but a few for state management, but none as a state park, and this is the first of those.
And talking to Scott about, he wanted to focus on redoing that campground over there, saying, God,
Yeah.
we got to ask for more money. We got to go back and go through the federal process. Will this partnership expedite that?
Oh, absolutely. We have the money in our park plan for expanding our state park system. There's such huge demand for our state parks that we made it a priority in our early days of my administration to say we need to add new state parks. And by the way, this is 2 of more to come, but also expand capacity. Existing state, everything from a new boathouse at Chatfield Reservoir to more parking places to, of course, updated campgrounds here that provide the experience that today's and tomorrow's campers expect.
Governor Nate Peterson with the Vail Daily. This was a logistical challenge, of course. What carried the day here to cut through, I guess, the red tape and to get everybody to work together?
Well, it's really wonderful when everything works together. And the U.S. Forest Service, Eagle Valley Land Trust, our conservation partners, Colorado Parks and Wildlife, the timing was just perfect for it to work together. And I want to thank again, AJ Brink, change can be challenging. And sometimes you just have to figure out how things can work going forward. And I think we did. It certainly provides a path to permanently preserve this area, not see it developed. And along with that conservation comes an amount of access that's consistent with our conservation values and provides additional recreational opportunities for folks. So the timing was right. Keep Colorado wild. Parks and Wildlife having the ability to do this. The U.S. Forest Service being willing to enter these kinds of partnerships, building out of the joint stewardship agreement, and of course the overwhelming demand for our state parks and the need to expand access.
Agree a blueprint here that you guys can take and use in other projects?
We're excited to explore potential state park sites with the U.S. Forest Service and other landowners as we look to continue to expand our state park system to keep up with the demand from Coloradans to enjoy our great outdoors.
Governor, obviously a lot of pressure on our parks these days. Is there kind of a loose plan for management of this as far as crowds go and as far as infrastructure goes?
Yeah, so we're working on the plan, including community involvement from local residents, from visitors. That will be completed next year. In the meantime, there's improvements we know we need to make: a new dock, a new boat dock, and campgrounds. So the plans for those are already underway. Anything else specific about the plan? Okay, yeah. So a lot of that will be the result of the community planning process. But one thing that's special about Colorado parks and the park here at Sweetwater Lake in particular is the experience of being in the great outdoors. And so we want to make sure that we have a sustainable level of visitation and that people who visit here have that special experience. And it's a different experience than people might expect at other parts of our state park system like Lake Pueblo or Chatfield Reservoir. Yeah, I mean, I would say enhanced access next June is what we're, so we plan by early next summer to have enhanced access, meaning some of the facilities that people expect at a bare minimum to be able to visit, and that will include the new boat dock, include upgraded restrooms and those sorts of facilities, with more to come. And much more to come, again, working with our state legislature. The initial investments made in expanding our state's park system. We're also expanding existing state parks, updating them. And this is our second announcement. We're also aggressively working on identifying other iconic areas of Colorado that can be part of our world-class state park system so that Coloradans can enjoy our great outdoor areas. Thank you.
Thank you.